Roadway design decisions are made to protect vulnerable users who can't protect themselves, whether that be the broader category of pedestrians or narrow groups such as people with disabilities. Designing roads where these users feel safe and comfortable even taking part in the roadway, such as at crossings or even just walking on the sidewalk. The problem arises when the pedestrian is unable to properly determine how safe they are or the level of safety of their roadway decisions. This is why designing roads with children in mind is becoming increasingly important due to such a rise in larger trucks that make it next to impossible to spot children in certain situations. In higher speed vehicles on the roadway that once they hit a certain speed, drastically increase fatality rates for adults, let alone for children. Children as young as 5 to 7 have a harder time determining the level of safety of a road if there are no obvious cars present to them or larger queues, making them more prone to make riskier decisions, such as crossing where there are no crosswalks or crossing on reds. It has been shown that the younger a child is, then the more likely they are to choose the quickest route to their destination, ignoring many warning signs. This is why the leading cause of death for children aged 5 to 14 are traffic fatalities. Laws that are essential for children's safety are already in place, such as helmets for kids on bicycles or in the car requiring children to be placed in car seats. An important quick note for car seats is that for extremely young children it is important to use rear-facing systems versus front-facing, as has been shown to reduce the factor of injury by 90 to 95%. These laws are good and absolutely save lives, but this line of need goes back to the most important message of this channel. Driver nature is to err. Both of these laws are not prevention but safety after the fact of a crash. The only surefire way of saving children's lives and reducing injuries is to reduce the speed on the road. The current system of roads have pushed children indoors and away from the outside even more than the internet already has. Parents don't find the road safe, and in their current state, they are right. Back in 1919, children were allowed to go as far as 6 miles from home, but that has shrunk down to now only 300 meters, just to the end of a road in sight of the house. The only way to get anywhere near this goal of improving roadway safety and allowing children to even feel more safe just to walk to their own school is to work toward the goal of Vision Zero. Vision Zero is the optimistic goal of working towards a world where there are zero fatalities or injuries due to traffic-related crashes. This is a hard goal to work towards, with such a high amount of both already in the United States, but what could be the first step is aiming towards zero for children. Children are not at fault and should not be blamed for the current broken system. Creating infrastructure that is completely safe for all children, or even just working towards improving the safety, should not be a matter if we do it, but when and how many more children we let be added to traffic fatalities. So the main question on your mind now is, how do we make the roads safer specifically for children? Are there different requirements for making a road built with children in mind? The answer is yes, but also no, as many of the same benefits for improving safety for children, walking and playing around outside near roadways, also have added benefits for all pedestrians. The main target for infrastructure projects to improve safety for children is to reduce the speed of the roads that children are most likely to be walking on or using. Just reducing the speed of traffic on roads by as little as 10% has shown to have a reduction in fatalities by up to 25 to 34%. However, solely reducing the speed limit on these roads has only a marginal impact up to a certain point, as people will drive at the speed they feel comfortable with going on those roads. Changing a freeway speed from 65 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, but changing nothing else, is a perfect example of not changing the structure behind the number. The main areas of focus for improving safety and reducing the speed on the roads focused on children travel are reducing the width of lanes, increasing the width of sidewalks, and the most important, removing the double yellow middle lane marker. This lane marker removal and reduction in width forces drivers to slow down, not only when cars are coming head-on from the other direction, but also when the entire stretch of road is combined with parking on both sides. They are forced to slow down in anticipation for people walking about or coming out from behind cars. These 3 steps are the simplified version of traffic calming, or the broader topic of a roadway diet. The 3 main locations that these techniques can be utilized are roads with housing where children will play and leave from, parts where children will go to play sports or go on playgrounds, and the final most important are schools where all children no matter what age will come and go from. This is where the state and federal funded program Safe Routes to School bases its sole goal surrounding, making the path for children to get from home to school the safest it can be, so the only things kids have to worry about is the math test they have that day. The Safe Routes to School program have two ways of going about creating a safer environment for children to get to school. Either that being through programs such as Walk, Bike, and Roll to School Days, where with the help of schools, they create a day where children are encouraged to walk or bike to school to increase the likelihood of children doing it in the future. Programs such as these work best when they are supported by the local school, or even more if the entire district comes together.
Introducing Safe Routes to School. Safe Routes to School programs provide guidance and assistance to help your students get to school safely by walking or rolling. Our framework is centered around what we call the 6 E's: engagement, equity, engineering, encouragement, education, and evaluation. Safe Routes to School projects can help every community. Maybe a walking school bus makes sense. Or maybe it's creating infrastructure for safer streets, starting a crossing guard program, or creating a Safe Routes to School policy for your district.
These walking school buses or programs are the cheaper of the many aspects with short-term results, but the other side of programs being supported are the more permanent solutions. Determining paths and roads that children are most likely to utilize to get and leave from school, and focusing roadway improvements targeted towards safety and slowing local traffic down can help to create longer-term success. There are no one solution fits all, with many projects focusing on bicycle improvements such as adding bike lanes or sharrows to allow bikes to use the entire road. On the pedestrian side, there can be adding wider sidewalks or sidewalks at all, or it can be adding a crosswalk with curb extensions to further slow vehicles down and increase vision of the children. The one problem with these long-term fixes is that they're on the pricier side of solutions, with a project that adds a curb extension costing as much as $100,000. The positive is that Safe Routes to School has worked out a solution to this. The solution are quick builds, projects that can be put together in a short amount of time and at a fraction of the cost. For example, instead of that $100,000 concrete curb extension, it can be accomplished using just plastic paddles and paint and installed in just 2 days of work, helping address the problem sooner. The other benefit of this is the reduced price tag attached to the estimate cost around $15,000, just a fraction of the price. The thing about this though is this can't be the final solution. These quick builds are pathways of taking what little money is available now and aiding towards a solution to the problem, while working toward gaining the funding for the more permanent solution of the concrete curb extension. This is not a replacement, but a stepping stone to a safer road. Funding is a tough aspect of justification for helping to slow down traffic and save lives, as it is hard to prioritize spending a lot of money on a few school roadway projects or spending a little on many, but allowing for a lower bar of entry for a project with quick solutions and even quicker results can help bring more money in the future. A project that matched these exact details of the plastic paddles and paint instead of the concrete curb extension in Cincinnati, cutting speeding almost in half from highs of around 54% to around 28%, going back to that 10% cut in traffic reducing fatalities by 25 to 34%, shows how much of an impact this can make, especially for the safety of children. So where does all this funding come from? The most likely location of funding is either state or federal grants, with the rest coming from local funding, donations, or school funds, with even many of the current programs around the states that focus on projects to increase the safety of getting children to school have no funding at all, run by just volunteers. Just a third of all the programs have a full-time paid coordinator, another third part-time, and the last bit unpaid or having no staff at all. This problem with the programs not being able to have a set-up program and ability to continue their work arises from the nature of the funding itself. These are one-time grants that go toward a singular project. Multiple cities and counties compete for just a fraction of the Transportation Alternative Program funding that distributes this money from the federal government to local communities and can be used for Safe Routes to School, but has no specified amount or percentage. The more stable funding is when the local communities or states are able to create programs that are allowed to have a consistent funding year to year, where it is not a competition for the pool. Having grants to support communities that are unable to come up with the more long-term funding absolutely deserve these grants, but the only way for lasting long-term change is to keep the change going even past a single roadway project or a single walking or biking to school day program. Long-term change and improved safety for children is a work in progress that can only get near the goal of Vision Zero with lots of money and lots of long-term commitment towards a solution.